Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Wanted to wish you all a very good morning so far. And then of course we got Yuna still snoozing in the background in our chairs. She does that like almost every single morning. It's adorable, but it allows me to get some work done, get a shower in after the gym, things like that. But today's video is actually a very requested one from you guys as we get deeper into contest prep, into dieting and things like that. I'm calling it hunger hacks. It's more like clickbait a little bit just to get people to, watch it. But it's more about, managing your hunger throughout the day, ways that you can manage your hunger throughout the day, because yes, you're dieting, you're in contest prep, you are going to be hungry at some point. And, I'm going to go through some ways to manage that hunger a little bit and kind of just have fun with it a little bit. But also knowing at the end of the day, you are going to be hungry. Hunger is a reality of the situation. We can do all the hacks in the world, but, it also is a mindset as well. That's probably my number one tip before I get into everything else is basically just sitting with your hunger, allowing it to happen, and knowing that hunger is not a bad thing. It means that it's working. It means that what you're doing and the energy you're putting in to your training, to your diet, to everything, managing sleep, managing stress, that means it's working and your body is responding. Obviously, yes, hunger can definitely invade your day, invade your energy levels, and managing it and making sure that you're not, hungry for 15 hours a day while trying to do your job, have a family and things like that. Of course, there's going to be some ways to manage that. But at the end of the day, I look at it more as a mindset as far as yes, what I'm doing is working. The energy that I'm putting into everything is working, and you will be rewarded, by your physique looking tighter, by your measurements going down, and by that scale average going down as well. But that's probably my number one tip. Looking at it as a positive, using it as a reframe as far as saying, yes, what I'm doing is working, and not being afraid of it, sitting with it and managing it throughout your day. But let's go ahead and get into some of the strategies and tactics that I use as well during contest prep to help with my hunger. You want to do it again? You want to do it again? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Yes. Oh, the ear is kind of weird. All right. She's awake. We'll see how much of this we can get done. Hi. You want to watch mommy film? Or you need to go potty? Do you need to go potty? Do you need to go potty before mommy films? Is that what you need? All right, now that she peed, she pooped, we're all settled now. If you're crunching in the background, I gave her some whipped cream in her food. But hunger hacks, ways to manage your hunger throughout the day. Like I mentioned before, my number one tip, sitting with it, reframing it as a positive thing. It's going to happen. Do not be afraid of it. It's part of dieting and part of contest prep. And also one of the reasons why we don't constantly diet or constantly stay in contest prep, because at a certain point, hunger is going to become a factor that you need to manage. So ways to manage it. Number one, I didn't put anything out here, but number one is protein. Protein is the most satiating and satisfying macronutrient. It's going to take some actual calories to actually process that protein that you're eating. And so as long as you're, maintaining around anywhere from 25 to 40 grams of protein every single meal and every single snack, that's going to help as far as just maintaining satiety, not being as hungry. So evenly space it throughout your day. That's how I tell my clients to build their plate. Always start with that protein source, even at your snacks. We can tend to forget, I'll just have an apple, or I'll have a bag of chips. It's like you're hungry an hour later, you're missing that protein source. So that's the number one thing. Check your protein throughout the day and make sure it is evenly spaced, especially getting ahead of it in the morning time frame. That way you're not having to eat 10 ounces of chicken or turkey or something like that later on in the day to kind of catch up on your protein, but then you're hungry, you skip breakfast and you're just like, oh crap, why am I so hungry? You didn't eat anything. So protein spacing is, again, probably my first really good hunger hack tip. Next one, hydration. And most likely sometimes when you're hungry, you might be a little bit dehydrated. Making sure that you are getting enough water in your day. And again, still spacing that out. I like drinking most of my water in between my meals to help with things like satiety. I still drink water with my meals, but I space it out to the way I am drinking something. My body has something to do. It's staying hydrated. But I'm not, of course, overhydrating or anything like that. But you need to be hydrated. So the first sign of hunger, check your water intake. Check your fluid intake. Are you behind for the day? Maybe catch up there. Other ways, if you're like, I don't like plain water, I don't like, the taste of it or anything like that, you can add things to your water like Mios, and they have all these like, sugar-free things that you can add in. You can also try, I've been trying this in the wintertime, this Red Rose strawberry cheesecake tea in the like the early afternoons, early evenings to help, because I'm more so probably most hungry between like 3:30 and 5:30. That's right before dinner. And so I've been starting adding this into about 8 to 12 ounces of, hot water. And it's been really helping me, A, get some more water in, B, give my body something to do. And it kind of curbs a little bit of sweet tooth cravings as well. And so I really do like this Red Rose tea. A fellow coach, Lexi, recommended it to me. And so I've been using it in my own contest prep, and it's very much helping. Another thing you can reach for maybe is sparkling water. The bubbles, the carbonation here, even diet drinks, Diet Coke or anything like that. I'll get to caffeine in a second. But the bubbles can maybe sit in your stomach a little bit. Yes, it's going to cause you to feel a little bit fuller temporarily. It may not totally satiate you for a few hours, but it can help. And I guess I love this limoncello one that I have here because it's like refreshing, it's fun, and again, it gives your body something to do, and it can help contribute to your overall water intake for the day. So hydration in general is one of the first things I have my clients look at in terms of also protein spacing throughout the day, as far as like managing your hunger. If you're hungry, try drinking something first and waiting about 20 minutes. If it's close to a meal time, then you might be actually hungry to need to eat something satisfying, like a meal or like a snack. So hydration first, protein spacing also up there with my top tips. My next tip, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, caffeine. So don't abuse caffeine. Caffeine is a great appetite suppressant temporarily. Obviously, things like coffee. Fantastic appetite suppressant. Obviously, yes, it does dehydrate you a little bit. So making sure you are hydrated first. That's why I go hydration first, then reaching for things like caffeine. They can be helpful. Even things like, it kind of doubles bubbles and caffeine, like a Celsius or a Ghost or something like that, as one energy drink. As long as you are tolerant of the sweeteners they use in it. I personally can't do erythritol, so I stay away from energy drinks that contain erythritol. But these can be kind of a two-way kick, as far as like there's bubbles in here. Obviously it's carbonated, but then there's some caffeine in there too to kind of, again, help suppress the appetite a little bit. But making sure when you're utilizing caffeine that you're not impacting your sleep cycle. And so you're cutting off the caffeine earlier in the day. So I'll give you an example. I have my quad, it's now a quad, Americano. Around this time, I just finished it. And then what I'll do later on in the day is I will add in Core Burn. Now, I love Core Burn. It's a prep staple for me. It's fantastic. It has general caffeine, but then it has extended release caffeine. So there is a longer half-life to something like a Core Burn. So the appetite suppressant is already in there as well. It is a thermogenic, but I more so drink it for the energy and for the appetite suppression. But managing when you do this, I don't drink this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I go to bed early at night. It's going to impact my ability to actually get to sleep. So I'm going to be like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? So managing your caffeine intake, monitoring when you have a cutoff for that caffeine intake to make sure, again, you're not impacting your ability to go to sleep and that you're not like wired and tired at night. That can be a long-term, just not good things. Obviously, yes, deeper you go into dieting phase, deeper into contest prep, I will temporarily increase my caffeine intake just because energy levels when you're dieting and in contest prep do tend to get a little bit lower. Caffeine can be helpful. But again, once I'm out of contest prep and out of dieting and things like that, I don't do quads in improvement season. I try to taper back my caffeine intake to manage that. I don't have Core Burn in my improvement season or anything like that. I taper it back to maybe just a normal Americano and my normal pre-workout, and occasionally I'll have an espresso in the afternoon, and that's it. Like, I try to manage that. So again, having that cutoff time, caffeine is a great hack for as far as just like managing that appetite suppression, but also it's liquid as well. I do put Core Burn in water in a water bottle to manage that as well. So again, it helps with hydration too. Next tip, food volume. Now, I don't tend to talk about this a lot just because I do get a lot of clients to me that are a little bit too focused on things like food volume. But vegetables and food volume, the big ass salad club, we're all going to belong to at some point during contest prep, hopefully not in the first week, but these can help you just have more food volume in your meals, and it can also force you to slow down when you're eating. That's another big thing. As far as like making sure your meals are taking you about 20 to 30 minutes to eat, having more volume in your meals can help you slow down. Also, fruits, vegetables, things like that have valuable micronutrients, which our body needs throughout the day. And it can be a great way, again, to get that more volume and feel like you're eating a little bit more when your calories from contest prep and dieting might be a little bit lower. And so, and again, forces you to slow down, eat, be satiated, drink some water with it, and then you're good to go. So food volume can be very, very helpful deeper into a contest prep. I am now doing a salad as part of my dinner to help me have that little more volume in my belly, along with my smoothie before I go to bed, to make sure, again, I don't go to bed hungry. Personally, this is a personal preference of mine. I don't enjoy going to bed hungry, okay? I may wake up in the middle of the night and use the bathroom and be hungry, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me yet. It may bother me down the road, but I tend to be able to get back to sleep. But food volume, fruits, vegetables, fiber intake, monitoring your fiber intake as well, and making sure, because as we diet down too and carbohydrates do get lower, our fiber also tends to get a little bit lower. Now, keeping your fiber as high as you can within a normal range, not like abusing fiber, because our body, again, gets used to everything that we do to it, but managing that fiber intake can be very helpful as far as, again, satiety, managing that hunger and things like that. And then some last general tips here, figuring out when you are most hungry. When do you need the most amount of energy in your day? For me, training. That's my number one concern right now. In my contest prep, obviously client's job, that's up there too. But for me, I need the most energy and recovery when I'm training. So I have a great video about, timing carbohydrates pre, intra, and post workout. That's where half of my carbs are for the day, no matter what. No matter if my carbs are lower, carbs are higher, it's still gonna be there, because that's gonna help me maintain as much muscle mass as possible for the energy and recovery from my lifts. So that would be my number one recommendation. Put half your carbs there. Also, people tend to be the most hungry maybe after their training session or a little bit after the training session. So that's a good way, again, to manage that hunger there. But then figuring out, when do you need the energy? For me, I need the energy in the late morning to early afternoon. That's when I'm most active with client calls, check-ins, client consults, walking Una in the afternoon, things like that as well. That's why I add in something like a caffeine, but I also have a good sized lunch. I may not have as much at dinner because, again, I don't need as much energy, but I'm still searching for that volume maybe at dinner that I may not be getting from the girth of calories and things like that. So it's, again, managing the energy balances throughout the day, managing your hunger throughout the day, and then also having some coping mechanisms in place. That's probably one of my last tips, besides planning, that you all know. Pre-plan everything, but having other coping mechanisms when you do feel hungry. So don't immediately walk down in the kitchen and stare at the refrigerator going like, I'm hungry, what do I do? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're gonna eat something. Like, none of us have the discipline to stand in front of the fridge when we're hungry and look at it and be like, okay, I'm really hungry. I want something to eat. Have other coping mechanisms. So for me, that might be doing my mobility flow. That might be, hopping on Instagram and just distracting myself a little bit, just like a 5-minute scroll to get through it. Obviously, doing all of these other tips as far as like managing hydration, managing caffeine, and making sure I have enough volume in my day. But also, like, maybe it's, going to a yoga class, taking a lap around your neighborhood real quick, checking your mailbox, watching a TV show really quickly or something like that to help you get your butt out of the kitchen and not think about food, okay? Have other coping mechanisms for hunger besides that kind of stuff. So, and then my last recommendation, planning ahead. This kind of ties into coping mechanisms, because if you already have your food pre-planned and pre-logged in your app the night before, execute. That's all you got to do. It shouldn't even be a thought crossing your brain. Like, you don't have to wonder when you're hungry, oh, what am I going to eat? It's like walking over to the fridge or for the pantry when you're hungry, and then you're scrolling in your phone, and it's taking forever for you to figure out what to put into your day, what's going to fit in your macros while you're like very, very, very hungry and lower on calories. Your odds of you over consuming something are a lot higher. As far as just like, you're saying, fuck it, let me just have this quick Uber Eats thing or something like that as well. That might be off your plan. And so pre-plan, pre-log, that way the decision fatigue is out of it, because along with dieting, I talk about energy being a little bit lower. Brain fog will set in at some point, as far as just like, you might walk into a room and forget why you walked in the room. That may happen to you at some point in contest prep, especially as you get really, really, really lean. And so managing that and taking the guesswork out of your day is really going to help you be successful in managing not only your hunger, but your entire prep as well. So I hope that helps as far as just like general tips, suggestions, ideas for managing your hunger throughout the day, but in the reality, you're gonna be hungry. It's not a bad thing. It tells your body that, hey, this shit's working. You're doing a great job, and reframing it as a yes, okay, we're freaking hungry. We might wake up to a new low tomorrow. We might wake up and our waistline might be tighter. We might see new lines, new definition, things like that. So looking at it as a positive thing, but managing it to a degree, but not fearing it. There is a balance there. And if you watch all my videos, I talk a lot about balancing these kinds of things. So like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Comment below your own maybe hunger hacks or anything that I might have missed that's helped you in your journey. I'd love to hear more about them and kind of create a great listing for people to kind of, again, help them navigate these kinds of things during dieting phases and during contest prep, because we're all in this together. We really, really are. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.